Hey, thanks for tuning into my podcast. This is Big Head on the Block, hosted by me, Tim Henderson, aka Big Head. Hey, welcome back to another edition of Big Head on the Block. We're going to stay with extended stay, lockup. We're going to talk prison talk. We're going to talk to former and current inmates. Today, I have a special guest that I want to introduce, and that's Wolf. Wolf, welcome aboard.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Listen, if you want to tell people your name and give us an idea, if you want, how old you are and how much time you spent in prison, just whatever information you want to give us.
Well, my name is Clint Williams. Only people who are family pretty much call me that. I go out Wolf and pretty much everybody else. I'm 48 years old, and I spent the best 15 years of my life, like the late part of my 20s, all my 30s, and into my 40s. I spent all that incarcerated because of dumb decisions, man. And, I pretty much lost my whole life in that place. But what I did do was take that time and try to use it to my benefit with education and trying to better myself. So, I don't look at it like I lost my life. I look at it like I just changed my life,
Changed your life. So how old did you say you were when you first got incarcerated?
When I first got incarcerated, I was 27.
27. Yeah, that's pretty young. Was it DOC, Department of Correction time?
Yeah, I went to big boy jail because I did big boy stuff, I really in my mind, I was still a kid and didn't realize the ramifications of what I was doing, but the judge didn't see it that way. He knew that, he had to get me, which he was right. He had to get me off the street because I was messing up. I was completely out of control, and I truly believe had he not removed me from the street, it probably would have been a lot worse. But he did, and he put me, I guess, where he thought I needed to be.
So can you kind of give us an idea of what kind of crime that you committed? And you don't have to go into specific details, just kind of overview, or you can go into graphic details, whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable with.
No, I'll tell you this. My rap sheet is terrible. I've been arrested 93 times. I'm a 6-time convicted felon. The thing that I actually got incarcerated for was one day we've been the whole family and all my friends and stuff, we've been at the river barbecuing and drinking and all that stuff. And we went to go back to one of my friends' apartment, and, I'm driving my car, my sister and her friends and the rest of them are following in their car. Well, just on a whim, I turned to the gas station to get some beer, and my sister had to cut across the lane to follow me in, and she cut these guys off. So I go in the store to buy beer. When I come out, I hear all this commotion. I look over, and these 4 guys are around my little baby sister, poking in her face, and one of them spit in her face, and I just kind of lost my cool and didn't handle it very well. First of all, I was probably too intoxicated to be in public, and I ended up shooting one of the guys. And
so yeah, look, man, I can tell you, man, as a man, somebody doing that to your family member, your sister, your girlfriend, or whatever, would elicit a response. Did you have a weapon on you, or was it in the car?
It was in the car. It was in the car.
All right, so it's 1-on-4, and the one is your sister. You retrieve a weapon, and however it went down, one of the guys got shot. Did he die, or was he just injured?
He didn't die. I wasn't trying to kill him. I was just trying to get him away from my sister.
Right. But okay, so that's one of the initial charges that you went to jail on? Yeah.
I bonded out on the charge. At the time that this happened, I was actually a prominent figure in Alexandria. I was a business owner. I owned the only tattoo shop in Alexandria. Everybody around there knew me. So when I fell, it was a big fall. I ended up bonding out on the charge, $150,000. When I went to court for my arraignment, they offered me 150 years, and it kind of freaked me out. And I just took off and kind of, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you're wanted and you're having to try to live hand to mouth. It puts you in some pretty hairy situations where you have to do stuff that you normally wouldn't do it. The crimes just started piling up on me, piling up on me, piling up. So they hit me with a crime spree law, and ended up. I actually got sentenced to 36 years, but they put it all concurrent into an 18-year package.
Okay, but yeah, I haven't lived a life on the run, but man, I was on several teams and I did a lot of independent work also. And when I was in the intelligence division, I tracked people that committed crimes like you down, and I know from my point of view that people and you worry about that as a cop. Are we pressing to the point where they're going to start making mistakes and start hurting people to try and be able to manage and live? So from the other end of what you're saying, it was always problematic for us to chase people like you because we didn't want to press you into making more critical mistakes and putting other people's lives in danger, but we don't know how motivated you are to get away. So, we have to press. It's just, you worry about the collateral damage, if you will. And obviously you say crime spree, I'm guessing it's probably breaking into houses, cars, maybe robbing people and stuff like that. Is that kind of what went on?
Well, no, not really. I'm not really that kind of guy. I'm not really a burglar. I'm not really a robber. I'm just, it put me where I had to sell drugs. I don't like doing that, but I had to do it. It put me, I say I had to do it. I didn't have to do it. In hindsight, the whole thing was just a big, stupid mistake where I shouldn't even have started. But at the time, you're in the heat of the moment. You're confused. You don't know what to do. I did that. I turned to selling drugs. Selling drugs, everybody out there's a rat. So selling 3 people, 2 of them's going to tell on you. When you're in situations like that, you're having to put yourself around seedy characters that you normally wouldn't hang around. I had a girlfriend with me at the time. I had to leave her at my cousin's house while I went to Houston. This was before cell phones. So, you couldn't keep in contact with people. Your cell phone went out of service when you left the city. So I left her at my cousin's house to go to Houston and do some things, and because I didn't want her to be in that. Well, unknown to me at the time, my cousin, I heard her get into an argument. She kicks her out, and this guy down the street tells her she can use the phone. He drugs her and tries to date rape her and stuff. And when I get back in town, I find that out and didn't handle that very well either. Ended up beating that dude to a pulp. Got charges on that, and
so basically, like you described, this thing just kind of continued to spiral because you were making moves that you thought was the only logical moves. And like you said, you were 27 years old, and at 27, your brain is somewhat developed, but not to the point where you already have enough knowledge to figure out how to run and get on the, stay on the run and manage money and manage your life, man. So that's why, honestly, people that do that, they typically going to make a mistake, and they typically going to do a few things. And I found this out through experience. And I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people that we tracked and that I've tracked. At some point in time, they're going to go back to things that they know, whether it be a girlfriend, whether it be mom. They're going to go back to area where they feel a little bit more comfortable because, just for instance, if you just left today and went to Shreveport, you got to figure out how to manage people that are on the run. They're not going to sit here and even though people think, let's go to Mexico. Really, what you going to do in Mexico, man? How you going to make a living? How you going to survive?
You going to get killed in Mexico.
Yeah, people that see these TV shows, they think it's real easy to just, Whitey Bulger was probably one of the ones because he had a lot of resources. He had a lot of money. He's probably one of the ones that stayed away for the longest time. But, that's when you got millions and millions of dollars and, he's got his woman in tow with him. But other than that, people are going to tend to go back to things that they're comfortable with. So, all right, so let's talk about this. You got sentenced to 36 years. They ran the time concurrent. So you got 18, Department of Correction in Louisiana, right?
Right. So
you were housed at the parish prison until you went to DOC or what?
I was in Rapides Parish, showing my butt. I didn't know nothing about jail or prison. I just knew what I watched on TV and stuff. So I'm thinking you gotta be aggressive and don't let nobody play with you and stuff. So I'm entertaining everything that I feel like I should. Well, they had this warden at the parish prison. I'm not gonna say his name. He was a real piece of work, man. He was probably one of the most racist people I've ever met. He completely hated white people, and he let me know it daily. Well, one day my girlfriend was at the jail too. The girl that I was with. That's how they ended up getting me. Is they arrested her. I came back to Alexandria to try to bond her out, and the SWAT team came on my mom's house. And got me. So
which kind of plays into what I said, huh? You kind of
exactly. That's what I was thinking when you were saying it. Actually, yeah, that's how they got me. They got my girl and they baited me in. So we're both in jail. I send her. They're not letting us communicate naturally. But I send her I make her a little necklace out of a trash bag, and I send it to her through a trustee. Well, the warden saw it on her neck, and he pulls a knife out and cuts it off her neck. Now, mind you, this is a little rich girl she's not a criminal. She's scared to death. She don't know what's going on, and it scares her. So she sends word back to me what happened. Well, one day, they had recreation on the roof. One day we're on the roof around lunchtime, and they bring us all down. It was Fish Friday. And they said usually they bring our tray to the dorm and pass it through the bean flap. Well, this day they wanted us to line up in the hall and grab our tray and head back to our bullpen. Well, the warden is passing out the trays. So I see him, and he's cussing people. Come on, get your tray, He's talking crazy to everybody. I'm like, all right, cool. So when I go to get my tray, he's handing them out, like grabbing one hand and grabbing one hand. But when I don't grab mine, it messes his routine up. He turns around, he's fixing to let me have it. I knocked him smooth out. Probably not the best move in my life, but so they beat me up, put me in solitary, locked me down and stuff. Then they sent me to David Wade.
Well, hold on. Let me get back to this. So you knocked the warden out. His cronies, obviously, because I was a prison deputy, I kind of know how it goes. You're gonna get fucked up. Ain't no two ways about it. You're not gonna put your hands on one. So I'm guessing they probably worked you over pretty good and put you in a lockdown cell for a while.
Yeah, they put me up. They put me in they call it 510. It's a pink cell with nothing but a hole in the floor.
Damn. All right.
They put me in there about 6 weeks, and then actually, I say it shit me day way. First, when I healed up, they put me in a cruiser. Normally, the Bluebird takes you to prison. They put me in a cruiser and drove me to Hunts and dropped me off with a bad report. And they put me out in C1 compound Hunt, which is like extended lockdown, Supermax.
Right.
And at Hunt, they had these guys they called the Four Horsemen. They were like the scat team or whatever, and they come down there and whoop me again.
They sent in a message that we heard about you, and we're gonna let you know from the beginning that this ain't tolerant. Now, people hear that and they say, man, that's brutal, that's violent. They violating people's civil rights, and look, I'm not condoning their behavior or your behavior. You did what you had to do. They did what they thought they needed to do, I guess. I'm not, like I said, I don't believe in beating people that don't need to be beat. But sometimes in those environments, to keep the peace, they're going to flex on you, and they're going to flex on you hard and quick. And I imagine that was their intent whenever they engaged you, was to let you know that, hey, man, we know who you think you are, but this is who you're going to be.
Right. They came 4 days straight. The first 3 days, I fought them back. That fourth day, I was so busted up, so hurting, so sore. I just said, man, y'all got that. I don't want to fight, dude.
Yeah.
Y'all got it.
So they wore you down. That's a common tactic. Most people only got so much fight in them. And once you hurt and realize that you ain't going to win, because they'll keep coming. And if they don't bring them four, they'll bring four more. And, you one person. So you at Hunts now. Where did you get, eventually, where did you get all your time? Was it at Hunts, at Angola, or what?
At Hunts, they just kept me in their little extended lockdown long enough to process me in the system to look through HRDC, and they shipped me to David Wade, which is Supermax. It's like the disciplinary camp. It's they have two compounds at David Wade. They have the south side, which is all Supermax lockdown, and they have the north side, which is it's really nice. It's open compound, bow check, and all this stuff. I mean, it's like two totally different worlds. But I went straight to extended lockdown Supermax. They have levels, like it's N4, N3, N2, N1, and then transition dorm. N4, let me explain how N4 is to you. when I walked on the tier, it had the big chicken wire, and they had plexiglass over it.
Oh wow!
When they opened the cell, it made your ears pop. That's how they pumped air in these things, man. It was
damn.
You had no interaction with nobody. Whenever you took your shower, they came down with 5 people, shackled you up, escorted you to shower, locked you in there, unshackled you, let you shower for 5 minutes, shackled you back, walked you back, put you in your cell, unshackled. That was your shower.
Where's David Wade at? I'm not familiar with that.
It's in Homer, Louisiana, way north, almost Arkansas.
Is it a state penitentiary?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a state. It's a real prison.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was a prison. I just didn't know. I just hadn't heard a lot about it, man. You may be one of. I've heard the name before, but I didn't really know what it was, so I never really had a.
It's the place they send everybody from Angola that they can't deal with. They send them to David Wade. David Wade, they will kill them rednecks up there. Will kill you.
Damn. Okay, so you on lockdown right off the bat. Do you ever maneuver into like general population, or is it just?
Here, I stayed on extended. Like it took me 18 months to get off all that Supermax stuff. In that 18 months, I don't know if you ever been in a room by yourself with nobody talking to you, nobody around you, 23 hours or 45 minutes of the day for 18 months. I hope you never have to do that, but you do some real serious soul searching. I asked myself, I said, man, this is where they put me. What am I doing? What did I do to get here? Something's obviously wrong. So
right.
I did some self-inventory, man, and I figured out, you know what? I decided I really didn't like the person I was. So I decided I'm going to do whatever I got to do to change because I want to come out better than I came in,
Right.
And I ended up getting through their little, it was hard because they wrote you up for anything. Like if you had a piece of trash on the floor, they write you up. And when you write up, you don't go up for board. So 18 months later, I get released from there and go to the north side. Like day and night. It was so much drastic of a difference. I felt like I was free. That's how serious it was.
So when you were in the lockdown cell, did you do what you commonly see on TV? Did you do your burpees, your push-ups? Did you do any kind of physical activity, or was it just more soul searching?
Well, when I was in lockdown, I just kind of did some emotional workout.
Gotcha.
I figured I tried to figure out what I needed to do to fix me. But when I went to the general population, I absolutely I worked out. I mean, if they had iron over there and they had a nice running track, I got really, really in shape. I even ordered a correspondence course to learn how to work out. I wanted to know what I was doing.
Okay. So you 18 months you're on lockdown, do some soul searching, you get right enough to where they bring you to a general population at the other facility, which is, as you said, made you almost feel like you were free because the restrictions were so less. So whenever you get there to the other facility, did you see that there was any kind of segregation there? Was it white boys, blacks, the Mexicans, the Hispanics or whatever? Was it segregated like that, or did everybody intermingle with each other?
At David Wade, it was definitely everybody knew where they stood. Everybody kind of interacted because the way the prison in Louisiana is set up, you have to kind of interact. They set it up to where everybody's together. So you kind of have, in order to, unless you just wanted to just be a straight asshole, which they have those, but they all end up in the cell block. That's what they did. You kind of have to interact with people, but there was absolutely a latent understanding of we're white, you're black. If the shit goes down, you already know what's up.
Yeah, you're gonna fight with your race.
Absolutely. If you don't, you're gonna be in trouble.
Well, in some of the situations, in some of these prison movies and some personal experiences that I've seen, sometimes it's an unwritten rule, but sometimes it's more formal. Like, hey, you got just for instance, a white boy, you got AB, Aryan Brotherhood, you got swastikas, you got the little SS, the lightning bolts and stuff. Did you see any of that type marking and stuff on people?
At David Wade, I was actually pushed up with a bunch of ACs, so I didn't get down, but that's who I ran with.
And who was that? Who were you with?
Aryan Circle.
Okay. And I'm guessing that's just kind of another name for a different type of Aryan Brotherhood type gang.
Now they're the AC is more about get out and stay out, better yourself. Aryan Brotherhood is a bunch of thugs. AC is more like we know we're better than prison. We're not fixing to do anything to make us stay. They're not going to send you to go kill nobody for them and spend the rest of your life in prison. Whereas the Aryan Brotherhood will. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. And you see that a lot on documentaries. So it's good that the AC, it kind of gave y'all a little guidance and understanding. We're gonna flex for the whites, but we want you to do better. Was the message basically?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I ran with them, because of that. I didn't want to stay in prison, man. I was trying to get out of there. I was trying to stay there.
And I tell people on some of these podcasts, if you got 18 years and you do shit that gets you in trouble, you can have 19 and 20 and 30 and 40 and 50.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't understand this. People don't understand that there are groups like the Aryan Brotherhood, and I'm not picking on them. If I was in prison, I probably would seek them out, or maybe they would seek me out. I don't know. But they're in a lot of federal prisons, not necessarily a lot of state prisons. But if just for instance, the AB says, hey, we need you to do this hit or whatever, and you do it and you get convicted. Now you only had 18 years. Now you're doing a life sentence for them. And I think that through documentaries and just people that I've talked to, I think that some of these prison gangs that are truly just prison gangs with people that are shot callers that are in there for life or 5 lives or whatever, they okay trapping you in their world and getting you life with them. And a lot of times, you put in a situation where you kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, but you ain't trying to get more time. But sometimes, would you agree that maybe sometimes people are led down that path and they have to do things, and then eventually they wind up getting life when they could have been out?
I can give you an example.
Okay.
I was locked up with this. When you're an inmate or convict, you do a time, they call it Joseph. I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
Yeah, I am.
When I was Joseph, I Joseph was a guy. He had a 5-year sentence on a nonviolent offense, so he'd probably do 2 years. Come on, he got clicked up with these people that didn't care about him, and they sent him on a mission, and he ended up getting a life sentence.
Yeah, and see that's the pitfall of banding with somebody that don't have your best intentions at heart. So it sounded like the AC was a good group that kind of understood the dynamics of what it took to get out and better yourself. So good for you for clicking up with them. Now, tell us about the violence that you experienced in prison whenever you were in the second phase of your sentence, not the 18 months lockup, but when you were out in population.
David Wade, the odd thing about David Wade is it's located in Homer, which is directly in the center of Shreveport, Bossier, and Monroe. Which I don't know if you know anything about Monroe, but they have this little section of West Monroe called Balkanville. You ever heard of them?
No.
It is it's like a hood kind of, but it's like a white hood. So
okay.
And it's a bunch of gangster white dudes in there. These are the hardest white dudes I've ever joked with. These dudes don't give a damn about nothing. They are crazy, and they ain't scared of shit. I respect them. I have a lot of friends from Balkanville, but so. The strange thing about David Wade is it was it was like 50-50, like 50% white, 50% black, which is odd in a prison setting because normally it's about 80-20.
Right? Yeah, that's very proportionate compared to most prisons because most prisons the whites are outnumbered by the blacks substantially.
Yeah, I know. So this made a real. For lack of a better term, I'll say a real calm environment because, everybody kind of knew there's going to be serious consequences if anything goes bad. But I remember this one incident. There was this little guy. He was really kind of special needs. Like we all kind of looked after him because he was just. This is how unlucky this guy was. He came home from work, found out his girlfriend was cheating on him. He freaks out. He shoots her to kill her. Then he puts a gun to his head and shoots himself. She doesn't die, and he doesn't die. And she testifies on him, and he goes to prison. And he's like, when he shot himself, it messed him up. And he's kind of, I don't want to say retarded, but
yeah,
he's in that. So we kind of looked after the little dude, man, because he really couldn't look after himself.
Right.
And, I don't like seeing people getting preyed on just because you're weaker. So one time this gangbanger black dude from like Stony Hill in Shreveport, they call him Tick for lunatic. He takes the guy's radio, just steals his radio, and like, what you gonna do about it? Well, man, it turned into a whole riot. I mean, I'm talking about. I've never seen anything like this, but it was insane. Literally, everybody in the prison was fighting on the yard. In the main part of David Wade, like where the chow hall and the pill call and all that stuff is, the gym. So they call it Times Square. It's like a big concrete square of buildings, and in the middle, it looked like a concert. There were so many people packed in there, and they were all fighting. And it was straight black against white. It was crazy. It was insane.
So whenever you you got blacks against whites, basically to defend the fact that this one guy that y'all looked after couldn't defend himself. Did it reach the level where it was just fists, or were there shanks? Did the guards come in there? It was
all that. It was sticks, shanks. Somebody would come over there, had tore a weight off the iron pile. I mean, it was. They had to call in like some. I think it was National Guard or somebody. They had to call in people and get like camouflage. So I mean, they came in there and had to get control. But it was serious for a minute.
So basically, a prison riot. So you in the middle of this, and I'm guessing there's hundreds of people. If you're saying everybody was involved, huh?
Yeah, there's probably about it was probably about 1,000 people total.
Boy, that's a hell of a fight, man. I've seen prison documentaries where they have people and that are engaged in that type of activity, but I've never seen that sheer volume of people. Usually it's 200 or 300, man, but 1,000 people, that's a lot of people fighting.
Well, I'm saying I'm not. Let's say that's how many were on that compound. I'm not saying they were all fighting, but it looked like it. I mean, it was a lot. Yeah. It was definitely.
Well, and then you in the middle of it, so you seeing things from an interior view. I'm sure it looked pretty spectacular from a guard's perspective. I'm sure they wasn't interested in 7 or 8 of them engaging people. At that point, do they give you tower warnings where they threaten to shoot you? Do y'all ever have those kind of responses from the guards or not?
Well, like when you go out in the field, like David Wade is big on field work. They have what's called the straight line. You have to stand shoulder to shoulder and do 3 shots with a garden hoe and take a step. And they want the line to be straight. And the line pushers ride these big Bergeron horses, and they got M14s, and they'll ride them horses right up on you. And if you get into a fight in the field, and they got to shoot the gun, automatic extended lockdown. Automatic. No questions asked. Both people going extended lockdown. I had a guy try to sneak me in the field. I didn't even know what was going on. He tried to sneak me. He didn't succeed. But just because he tried to sneak me, they shot the gun. We both went extended lockdown.
Oh, damn. Yeah. So when y'all having a prison riot, it's a free-for-all. Do they have tower guards? I've seen them actually shoot people and kill people in some of these federal penitentiaries. Do they have that same setup here?
The towers are just on the perimeter fence, though. Like where this went down, there was no towers around. It was like in the middle. But yeah, they were out there trying to get control, and they had beanbag guns, and they had these like paintball guns that shoot mace balls and stuff. But it was too out of control. That wouldn't even.
So they bought all their arsenal, but y'all were too many sheer number. They didn't have the ability to control it, so they had to bring in resources. So after that happened, after everything was cleared, did they put y'all all on lockdown, or did they just let the place run normal?
Well, they shipped a bunch of people. They just did a mass shipment. They traded a bunch of people out to different prisons and stuff. Like the main instigators, like the people who started it, they were on the first thing smoking straight out of there.
Okay, yeah. And for those listeners who don't know, there's intelligence based organizations inside a prison, and these officers, or whatever you want to call them, jailers, it's their job to kind of understand and interpret what's going on, the gang activity, who's the shot callers and stuff like that. And then also you got your informants that are inside the prison, the prisoners, the inmates themselves, that's giving them information. So they pretty much got an idea of who's running the show. So basically what you're explaining away is the fact that they took as many of the shot callers as they could and kind of dispersed them, thinking that it might help kind of quell the problem, right?
Right. Yeah, it did. I mean, it got the results,
Yeah. And prisons do a good job of that, man, because, people don't realize this, but the guards, they're there usually 12 hours a day. So half of their month is spent there. So they have to really understand what's going on because, from a safety standpoint, you need to know who you're dealing with also. You don't necessarily need to know everybody's charge, but you need to know when you're interacting with people, you have to have a level of respect for them, and they have to have a level of respect for you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Now, as a matter of fact, you know what I've noticed? I noticed that the guards that work in prisons, they get institutionalized just like the inmates,
Yeah. I was only there 18 months, but 30 years going to the same prison, dealing with the same people, I could see that you would get institutionalized for sure. Not even that you're trying to, it just happens because everything in a prison system is structured, and your structure as a prison guard or as a jailer is structured to the point where almost all your movements monitored also, just like an inmate. And there's certain things you can do and can't do. So I could see why that would cause people to become institutionalized. So the level of violence that you experienced, you were able to kind of sidestep any trouble. Did you get any time added to your sentence?
No, I didn't. I mean, honestly, at that point in my jokes, I was really trying to keep my forward momentum going because I was on a good path right then. I didn't even really hardly get involved in that. I mean, I was on the fringes, I kind of, I did a little something, but I knew that there was going to be some repercussions behind that. So I kind of stayed, to the best of my ability, I stayed out of it. If somebody come messing with me, yeah, I entertained it, but I didn't go in there and actively try to engage in that.
Yeah.
But
you were just trying to manage your time like most people and get to the end of it. You educated yourself?
Yeah, I took 5 different trades through VoTech while I was locked up. HVAC technician, auto body collision repair, mechanics, welding, horticulture, copper-based cable and fiber optics. I think all kinds of stuff, man.
Okay, so that's good that they gave you the opportunity to better yourself, because if you're there dormant, and you see this at a lot of parish prisons whenever they don't actually have stuff set up, you see a lot of bad behavior because there's nothing to do all day. They play dominoes, they play cards, they sit in the day room, they don't go to work, and there's a lot of violent activity. And you don't typically see that in the same volume that you do whenever people are put in a DLC facility because the behavior is different. Most of them have time and they're looking to start and to finish their time, right? As opposed to just constantly being involved in chaotic shit. So you experienced, did you observe a lot of violence? Did you see people getting preyed upon that was weak?
Most of my fights in prison were behind that. I'll give you a prime example. This one right here, really, I still think about this. This affected me because I feel like I dropped the ball on it or something. But I had went back to the South compound for that when they shot that gun and they put me on a stand like down. So I had to work my way back off, and I'm in the transition dorm. So in the transition dorm, you're still on the lockdown compound. If you're in the dorm, you still wear jumpsuits and you go work in the field, but you're locked in the dorm and all this. So this is where I'm at, and it's full of knuckleheads. It ain't nothing but fuck ups, man. These people are like really not cool people. So they had this, now this dorm was absolutely segregated. All the white people slept on one side, all the black people slept on the other side. So they had this black dude who just come from Winfield for stabbing up a guard. and they called him Killer Black. And this guy here was a piece of crap. Matter of fact, he got out, and the cops killed him. That's how much piece of crap he was.
Dang.
But he was a predator, 100% homosexual predator. Well, they had this little young, fat, little white kid from Pollock, Louisiana. He was about like 17, 18 years old. And Killer Black locked in on him. Killer Black's little running partner was a leader called Bohemus. And they all they did was prey on people. So the little kid comes to me and he's scared. He's like, man, what do I do? I said, well, check this out. This is what you do. I said, next time he comes in your face talking to you, I said, punch him. I said, you punch him and I'm going to handle it from there. I said, but I'm not going to be the only person in your water. You have to show me that you don't want to get what he's trying to do.
Right.
He's like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Well, it was about to be workout time, so I was going to take a little nap. So I lay down, take a little nap. Well, my friend wakes me up. He said, Wolf. He said, look at the bathroom. So I look towards the bathroom, and Bohemus is standing at the door. They call it watching the bust. He's standing at the door. So I get up and walk over there, and he's like, hold up, Wolf. I said, man, get out my way, man. And when I looked into the bathroom, the mirrors were on the wall. You could see into the bathroom, and I seen Killer Black doing the deed with the little kid. Man, it broke my heart. Son.
There's a lot of homosexual activity in these prisons, and it's not really widespread that I've seen or heard about, but it's isolated, and it's usually the same people that do it over and over, and they prey on the weak people. They try to intimidate them. I mean, I've seen it. You can see them. Sometimes they'll try to just talk them out of it. They don't even.
Yeah, that's all they do. They don't even have to get the violence. They just finesse them out of their booty.
Yeah, that's right, finesse them, man. So, well, look, man. I know it's getting close to time where you got something else you got to do, but let me ask you a question. So you went to prison. You experienced all this violence. You made mistakes when you were young. You ran from the cops. You were tracked down. You were caught. Your girlfriend was involved. You had all kind of chaos, man, almost to the point where we could do a Netflix series on it. Tell us, before you leave, tell us how your stay ended and then what you've done to better yourself.
Well, okay. Well, from David Wade, I got shipped to DCI because that was my geographical transfer. After 6 years of David Wade, I went to DCI and did the rest of my time. I ended up getting on the boxing team there. I ended up winning the light heavyweight belt and keeping it for 3 years until I ended up just giving it up because I got tired of doing it. But I discharged from DCI. My family came pick me up. I opened up my own air conditioner company. I really took the time and used it to my benefit. I'm the founder and president of the Ravens Riding Club. It's a group of guys. We ride together. We try to do community service and stuff. It's just.
So basically, you did a 180 pivot, man. You went in one way and you came out another way.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're doing good. You got your family's doing good and everything.
Yeah, right now, I'm working at a rehab, helping people get off drugs. Man.
Okay, well, and that's needed these days, man. And people with your experience and background is even more beneficial because you lend a little credibility to what you're saying because you've seen so much in your life. Well, look, man, I really appreciate you being our guest today. And the objective of this is to just give people insight and some entertainment.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Big Head on the Block. I'm Tim Henderson, the host. I look forward to dropping another podcast soon. Please give us any comments, likes, dislikes, or any topics y'all would like to discuss. Thank you.